Look at your eyes. You. Look at your eyes. Look at them. Speckled. Colorful. Each one unique. And I created every one of them. I created everything. The universe. And you. I gave you your personality. I made you pure. Complex. And every day, I give you life. I love you. But something happened. You cheated on me. You didn't trust me. You sinned. You cut yourself off from me. And although you're still alive, you were slowly dying. So you looked for other things. To fill the void. But nothing works. It just kills you faster. And it separates us more and more. What are you searching for? I don't want you to die. I created you, not to be destroyed, but to know me. So I became one of you, a fragile creation. I was tempted, but I never sinned. I came to save you. You have so many sins, and they have a cost. Someone has to die, you or me. So I took on your sin and traded in my life for yours. And I died in your place because I love you. Then I rose from the dead. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am Jesus. I'm not here to condemn you. I came to bring you back to life. Rely on me. I will forgive you and give you eternal life. I love you. And I did all of this to have a relationship with you. Will you follow me?
I got too many props. So what we're talking about today is making the most of your miss. You might have to start that at the beginning, Chris. That's somewhere in the middle. But first, I was dying to finish high school and to start college. And then I was dying to finish college and start working. Then I was dying to marry and have children. And then I was dying for my children to grow old enough for school. And then I was dying to retire. And now I'm just dying. And I realized I never took the chance to live. Isn't that the reality of it? Is we're always looking forward. Life is lived looking forward, but it's learned looking back. And so, as we talk about this morning, we're talking about life is just a mist. It's just a vapor. That's why I brought my little prop this morning to show you. Is a mist. I don't want to hit anybody. And you know, you can try to hold on to life and you can try to make it not pass by, but it just passes by. And then it seems like each day it just passes by faster and faster and faster and faster. I remember talking to my grandfather one time, and he told me, he said, you know, I'm 80 now, but yet I look back and I remember being a kid and it just doesn't seem that long ago. And then his life was gone. And then it was past. And then it was on to something else. And everything that he did, every impact that he tried to make, everything that ever happened was just gone. And it was brief. It was dismissed. And that's why the Bible describes it like that. It's because it's literally, it's here a moment, and then it's gone. Let me show you this morning. You may have to start that again, Chris. What's going on? It is, restart that. But James 4:14. If you have your Bibles, turn there with me this morning. James chapter 4, verse 14. We'll go old-fashioned way this morning instead of cheap and let's look at it on the big screen. James 4:14. It says this. It says, why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. You're just here for a short time, and then it's gone. Because the reality is that life's just short. It's short. It can change in a moment. And even as we're sitting in here today, it's passing us by. We're trading our moments for what happens next. The Bible constantly uses the reference of time. I think it's to remind us that eventually our time here on earth is just going to run out. You know, and we look, we're like, man, time's going around. No, that's good. The less we're here, the better. See, we live for a kingdom that's not here. We don't live for an earthly purpose, but we live for a heavenly purpose. And if I've got a heavenly purpose, then the things I do on earth, while they matter, ultimately in the end, my goal is to be where? In heaven, which is going to be a better place. And we're kind of looking at these things today, and it kind of sounds a little bit like a funeral message, but it's not. It's to tell you that I must get my things in order so that what happens after this life will be in line with what God has for me. Still not working out. We spend our life chasing dreams, pursuing pleasures, wanting happiness. And then in the end, all anybody ever wants is what? More time. We spend our whole life, we're like, I want to obtain wealth, and so I work real hard. I want to attain success, so I try really hard. I want to do these things. I want to visit these places. And then as you're laying there and you know the time is just ticking by and you're laying there in the hospital, or maybe you're laying there and you know that the minutes are literally your last moments. Everybody really just wants more time. But do we take advantage of the time that we already have? You know, we saw the video on the jelly beans this morning, and he's pulling those away, and each one represents our life. And you think about how many jelly beans were really there, and that's really how much life we actually get. But as we move on, as we progress through life, we're slowly subtracting those things. And if you thought about your own life this morning, I don't know what's going on with our stuff this morning, but we will hopefully get it worked out. But as life passes us by, as it continues to pass us by, think about how many of your jelly beans are already gone. How many of your days have passed? How many are in this pile and how many are in this pile left? And while we can't predict how many are really left for us, but we do know how many we've spent. And then think about it this way. Of those that you've spent, what have you really accomplished with them? If we can't break down our entire life, but what if we broke down this morning? What if we broke down just this week? What have I done with the last 7 days that I've had? And what did I accomplish? And is it something that we can look back and we can be proud of? You know, I thought about it this week, and I was thinking about time, and this has just been on my heart, and this making the most of the mess. And I was thinking, if your life were a notebook containing only the things that you've done for Christ, what would it say? What would your notebook say? And then I thought this, how big would it be? How big would your notebook be? And then, would it be empty or would it overflow? I've seen people, they brought notes or notebooks, and they were just stacked like this, and pages were sticking out because they could no longer even line up with the binding anymore. But then there's other times there's notebooks and you open up and it's got one page in it. And if this notebook contained only what you've done for Christ, how thick would it be and what would it contain? I think that's an important question for us to ask. I've still got no control, guys. If you guys can flip, that's good. But Ephesians 2, 8 and 9, it says this, and I'll probably, if you can keep up with me, that's good, but you'll probably be flipping a lot of pages. Just hang with me this morning. Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. So we're not talking about that your works are what is what's going to get you to heaven. But what I am saying is that your works might help get someone else to heaven. So it's important that you take advantage of your time that you have so that you can accomplish the things that God has for you. And when we waste our time, what if we risk someone else's life? When we waste our time tooling around, doodling around, not going about our Father's business, what if we're really, in fact, risking someone else's life? Risking someone's eternity. See, but like I said, what if it's not that your works are going to save you, but what if they help save someone else? See, what we got to realize is time is an investment. And how it is spent is left to you, the chief investor. And the result of your investments will show for themselves. If you look around and you say, I've got nothing, what have you been doing with your time? If you look around at your marriage and you say, my marriage is just garbage, what have you been doing with your time? If you look around at your wallet, it's always empty. What have you been doing with your time? If you don't have a relationship with your children, what have you been doing with your time? Because where your heart is where your wallet will be, but where your heart is where your time will be. And where your heart is where your treasure lies. So what have you been spending your time on? What have you been spending your money on? What have you been spending your efforts on? Because that is essentially what matters the most to you. And if you've got this miss, if it's literally just like that, if it's literally like that, if it's just a mist, if it's just a spray, and it makes an impact for 1 minute, and it even reflects light, like if you shine that mist up in light, it even reflects light, and sometimes it's beautiful what mist does, but it is only there for a moment. I'll get up in the morning, I'll drive to work, there'll be haze over the fields, it'll be pretty, but it isn't long before it's dried up and gone. And it's the same way for our own life. There are people who never invested in their marriage and eventually lost it. There are people who never invested in their children, and eventually the children grew to resent them. There are people who never invested in their health, and now their body's broken. But see, time is an investment, and we reap what we sow. Can you flip to the next one, guys? Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows, and whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. And whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. So if time is an investment and we reap what we sow, then what are we sowing into our time? What are we sowing into our time? Many never invest in the Word of God. You know why I know that? That many never invest in the Word of God? Because of all the false teaching that I hear. Because I go, if you'd have read that for yourself, you'd realize that's not true. And when people say things, I can immediately pick out whether it's true or not. I'll be like, does this match the Word of God? How do I know this matches the Word of God? Because I read it. But see, we're allowing ourselves to be deceived because we don't invest in the things that matter to God. We invest in the things that matter to us. And if God doesn't matter to us, we don't invest in His stuff. So we don't spend time reading His Word. We don't spend time knowing. And we're wondering why all these people believe all these crazy things. And why this guy over here is teaching this and this guy over here is teaching this. Is because no one is investing in the Word of God. Many don't know about the Bible. They act like it's something that they can't figure out. Like it's something so advanced that no one can understand it. When reality is, if you simply pick it up and even try, you will gain understanding. You may not understand everything. And it's like I said before, in the Bible, there's things that are scary. And it's not the things I don't understand that scare me. It's the things that I do understand that scare me. I mean, the reality is that there is a hell. And I do understand that. And I don't understand it enough that I know that I don't want to go there. So I don't invest my time in things that are going to lead me there. I feel like for the Christian, when we don't learn the Bible and when we don't study God's Word, we're like that house of cards that's built. You know what I'm talking about? You ever built house of cards? Anybody? That's difficult. I don't know how these this high. I can't build anything that high. Sandcastle, a house of cards, any of it. But we're like, when we don't invest in the Word of God, we build this house that has no foundation, that has no structure, and immediately, the first time that a storm comes, the first time that a wind blows, the first time somebody walks around and stomps past it, boom, the whole house falls. And we go, how did this happen to me? And we say, there's no foundation there. I haven't rooted myself in anything that'll last. So what do I expect when I fall to pieces every time something comes about? For me, when I invest in the Lord, I build that foundation. And then when things happen, what happens to me? I just root myself deeper in Him. And then I can be blown. I can be knocked side to side. And I still have something to show. You know what? I found this too. Is that why is it that we never have enough time? Have you ever thought about that? Everybody I talk to. I ain't got time to do that. I ain't got time to do that. Well, what are you doing this week? Man, I just don't have time. I've got to go do this. I've got to go do that. I've got to be here. I've got to go there. We don't have time. We walk around all the time, and everyone's talking about how they don't have time. But in reality, you make time for the things that are important to you. You know how I know that? I've seen everybody's vacation pictures this year. You make time for the things that are important to you. You say, oh, I don't have time to do that. Man, I can't come to a Wednesday night Bible study. I don't have time for that. Man, I can't come to church work day. I got too many things on my plate. I'm like, well, you laid up on the beach for a week and you got a great tan. I mean, you had time to do that. You got time to go to work every day. You got time to have dinner with your family, hopefully. So we make time for what's important to us. That's the thing, is that a lot of things, they're just not important to us. And that's fine, because we gotta prioritize life. But what if you really did have all the time you needed to accomplish all that you wanted to? So how is that? Well, when I make my purpose God's purpose, I'll have the time to fulfill the purpose of God. Because He gives me all the time that I need. Whether it's my purpose is going to be accomplished in one day, or my purpose is going to be accomplished in 72 years, I'll have enough time to accomplish the purpose. Because God created me for that purpose. So therefore, He created enough time for me to do it. And I'll tell you this too, there's a verse in the Bible that talks about He'll restore the things that the moth has eaten, and the things that are worn and torn, that we've allowed in our lives. He'll restore those things. So if I've wasted some time, when I commit myself to Him, I'll be able to complete that purpose still, because He's going to restore that time back to me as well. Because that's the kind of God He is. Flip on to the next verse, guys. I think about some days I don't feel like I can get anything done. But other days I feel like I can accomplish a week's worth of stuff in one day. On the days where I accomplish so much, it makes me wonder what I could accomplish if I just quit wasting time and really pursue the heart of God. Can you go on to the next one, Chris? Romans 13:11. I want you to see this morning. This is all the more urgent for you to know how late it is. Time is running out. Wake up, for our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. Well, that's obvious. Our salvation is near. In other words, the coming of Jesus is near to us. And it's nearer now than it's ever been. So I think it's necessary that I commit myself to the things of God and go about His purpose. So, see, Jesus is closer to coming back than He was when we first believed. And time is running out. So there are two things in life that make me very aware of passing time. I want to share these with you this morning. There's two things in life that make me very aware of passing time. One is very simple and the other is a little more complex. The first one I want to show you this morning is the hourglass. How many of you have looked at the hourglass before? The hourglass is sobering to me. Because eventually, when you flip this over, all the sand runs out. There is something about watching sand run through an hourglass and knowing that a moment has passed. There is something key to life in the process of the sand pouring out and knowing that the end is coming. And I see my own life in the simplicity of the hourglass. I only have so much sand, and eventually it'll run out. And what's bad is, for me, I can't see this part. All I can see is this part. Is that it's moving by, and it's out of my control, and I have no idea how much I have left. Am I near the top? Am I reaching the bottom? I have no idea. So I have to make sure that what time I do have, I make it count. The other thing is my children. My children make me understand that time passes by. Because I don't feel like I'm any older. But Elijah will be 11 this year. I don't feel any older. I mean, I remember being 23. I had braces because I I'm 23 years old, and we're taking on this new thing in life, you know? And then now, it's just like time just went boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm 34. I mean, it was just like that. And I think, oh man, in another 11 years, then I'll be 45. In another 11 years, then I'll be 56. And I'm like, man, life, if it's that fast, I've really got to grasp on and hang on because it's running faster than I can go. And so I must make sure that everything that I do is in line with God. And so when I look at my children, I realize also that it's not just about the time that's passed for me, but the time that's passed for him. He's 11. Half of his childhood is gone. The next 10 years for his life will be years of discovery. And I don't like that. I don't like that. The little things we've discovered already, I'm not too fond of. But they'll be the years of discovery, the teenage years, the transformation from child to adult. It's like all of the blinds are just brought off of you. You get exposed to this world. And all of a sudden you realize that not everybody's nice. You also realize that, you know, that there are people that are out there to hurt you. You also realize people aren't all honest. And you walk through this process, and the whole time you're trying to keep Jesus in the picture for your child. You're saying, keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on this. But everything else is changing for you. It's no longer innocent. Daddy can't protect you from everything anymore. And so the passing of time, the hourglass reminds me of the passing of time, and my children remind me of the passing of time. And I remember my childhood. I remember being 10. I remember being 11. And I know how fast it went. And I think for Elijah, you don't realize it, but it's going to go by fast. Hang on. Find your purpose. Find what God has for you. So for me, I also remember, like I said, I brought him out of the delivery room. I was 23. I'm 34. And it's like this. In the midst of our happiness, our sadness, our griping, our complaining, our 40 to 60 hour work week grinds, our ball practices, birthdays, and even Bible studies, time is passing by. You know, we celebrate Christmas every year, and we look around at our family, and we assume that the next year everybody will be there. And it's always sobering the next year if you're at a Christmas gathering and someone's not there. It breaks your heart, because the things that once were have passed by. But what about this? We're at the ball practices. We're at the Bible studies. We're at the birthdays. What about this? What about the people who are dying without knowing Jesus? What about the ones that are going to hell without a Savior? I believe there are people out there today who are just waiting on an invitation. And I can back this up biblically. That there are people out there who are already right, who are already ready. And you may be working next to them, and you may say, they don't have a chance. They're never going to come to Christ. They're so foul, I can hardly stand to sit by them at work. And you don't even know because you've never asked, but they may be right for the picking. Would you go to my next verse, guys? All right, look at this here. John 4:35. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh the harvest. Loving that King James this morning. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look unto the fields, for they are already, they're already white and ready to harvest. Already. That tells me that there's people out there right now, that are just waiting on an invitation. Show me the next verse, guys. And then he told them, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his field. That's Luke 10:2. So the field is ripe, it's ready to harvest. How many of you ever farmed before? You ever done a garden? Okay? So it's ready to go get it. But then he says, the laborers are few. There's very few people to go and gather what's out there. So think about right now. Out there where I live, it's corn. Everybody's growing corn. And corn's like 7 feet high right now because it's just loving this rain. And there's just, as far as you can see, it's just acres and acres. Now when I drive by, I can't even see over the top of it anymore. Now imagine that there's no one to harvest it. There's no one to harvest it. Well, what's going to happen to it? It's going to rot. It's going to die. Now let me show you what I'm talking about this morning. We're talking about people dying and going to hell. And we got to make the most of our mess because they're dependent on us. If there are people right now who are ripe to harvest, but there are not enough laborers to harvest the fruit, then some will rot on the vine and die without fulfilling their purpose. some who could have been saved, some that could have brought nourishment to the body of Christ, some that could have fulfilled their purpose, but they didn't. And it's only because there was no one there to harvest them. So what's that mean? It means that there's people out there right now who will die, who will go to hell. And the reason they will die and go to hell is just simply because no one went to them and asked them. And it don't even, and it just breezes by. It's like, oh, that's just, okay. No, people are going to go to hell, and they're going to go there simply because no one asked them. Are we really so bold to think that we're not accountable for these souls who will go to hell on our watch, all because we were too lazy to work the field? They were next to you. They were your neighbor. They were your aunt. They were your uncle. They were your old friend from high school. They were the kid that you were working with on the ball team. James, maybe they were the people at the rodeo. I don't know. I'm sure there's some there that could use them. But what I'm saying is that we're coming in contact with them every day. And what are you going to do with your mist? Everything about your life should scream Jesus. Everything we do should be harvesting souls. And everything we teach our children, anytime we encourage this body, it should be about Jesus. See, the time you have is just like the memory you have. And just like the money that you have. It all belongs to Jesus. So now you say, how much of my time belongs to God? It's just like my money. You say, oh, does 10% of my time belong to God? Does Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night belong to Him? No, all of it does. Because let me tell you, when the sand runs out, you'll stand before Him. And you don't know when the sand's going to run out. They say that your heart can beat like 1 billion times in your lifetime. 1 billion times. Do you know any piece of equipment that can work 1 billion times? So what does that tell me? It says that the very breath of God is allowed in my next heartbeat. And when He says, enough, then it stops and it ends. So I worked medical field. I was paramedic, firefighter. I saw a lot of people take their last breath. And I know some of you in here have worked in the medical field. You know too. It's just like that. It's why you're at dinner one night. It's when you go to bed one night. It's all of a sudden the things that surprise you. Oh, I never thought it was my time. It's the one that's 16 years old. It's the one that's 25. It's the one that was 80 and was working in his garden yesterday, but now he's not. It just comes and it goes and it grabs you and then it's on you and then it's past. And your life is gone, and we walk around living like we're just guaranteed the next breath. And I'm saying, what are you going to do with your mess? Some of us are already behind the curve. We've been going a long time, and we're not fulfilling the purpose of God. I believe culturally, we waste a lot of time. And I'm going to get on myself here, just like everybody else. I'll just name 3 categories I've got this morning. TV. We waste time. Internet. We waste time. Video games. That's just 3. I can name some more. TV, internet, video games. We waste time. Can I be honest? And like I said, I'll raise my hand on being guilty. We won't reach a lost, dying, and hurting world with a great Facebook post. Won't happen. We won't change lives constantly staring at our phone. We won't build lasting relationships or even save our marriage through social media. So where do we invest in our time? I know it's fun. I know it's good. I know there's a lot out there. We keep up with people, and there's good things about it, but we waste time. We weep when our plans change. We weep when our days become difficult. And when we have wept over, when is the last time that we've ever wept over someone who we thought was going to hell? I don't know that it happens very much. I mean, like literally say, God, just break me down so much that I just weep and I just pray that they would be saved. I'm telling you, if it was your brother or sister, I would hope that you would pray. If it was a family member that you knew you were going to be eternally separated from, I would hope that you would pray for them. If it was somebody that you knew, a neighbor, a friend, somebody, I would pray that you would go after them. I would pray that God would make hell such a reality to you that you would realize that we don't want anybody to go there. This is not fiction anymore. I know that we get at funerals and we preach like everybody goes to heaven, but it's not true. It's that some won't go. And I just pray that we would really care. I don't feel like we grasp the reality of hell. The term has just become so casual to us. talking about great pain and torment, but more than anything, we're talking about a total separation from God. So how will you make the most of your midst? We have this illusion always that we have more time. Oh, I've got more time. Because we always make plans like we have more time. It's like right now, I've paid for a vacation that's in October. Like, I'm guaranteed that, even though I'm not. I hope I get to go on it. It really won't matter, I don't guess, if I don't go on it. Money won't matter to me at that time. But nonetheless, I hope I get to go on it. I hope I get to spend the time. But we always make these plans like, oh, in 2 years, I'm going to retire. Oh, in 6 months, I will start paying tithes because then I'll be ready. Oh, in 5 years, we're going to celebrate this wedding anniversary. But what happens when those days don't come? It's an illusion. I guess we were designed this way, but we always think that there's more time. We live life looking forward. We prepare for our future, but we only prepare to live, and very few people ever prepare to die. They just don't prepare to die. It's like this. Let me show you another illustration this morning. This here is your life. It's kind of sad. But it's your life. This is how much time you got. This is your lifeline. This is actually spaghetti noodle, but it's your life. And this represents your birth on this end, and this represents your death on this end. And you're living somewhere in between. Let's just say that I'm somewhere around here. Almost in the middle, but not quite, if this is the average lifespan. And we live our life thinking this way. We live our life thinking, I've got all this time. And maybe this is 100 years for you. Maybe that's your ideal goal, even though very few people think of that. But we tell ourselves that so that when we get 50, we're like, oh, I'm middle-aged. And so we live this whole life, and we're looking at it like this, and we're like, oh, this is my life, and I've got all this time, so I can do the things for God in this part. But what happens when this happens? Now I've only got this much time. Because they told me that I only had 6 months to live. Or what happens when I don't get told how long I have to live? It's like this. We can't live life thinking all the time that we have more time. It's just an illusion. You have no idea. Randy's may be twice as long as mine. And then mine may be this long. What if I'm 15 and I die? And this is all I have? What did I do with it? So time is always important, and I'm always under the illusion that I've got more, but I'm not promised that. And so I'm looking and I'm going, well, what if your life is not meant to be as long as you thought it would be? Have you done all that you wanted to do? Are you prepared to meet Jesus? Do you live in such a way that it truly doesn't matter to you when you die? Guys, put the next verse up there, please. This is Paul, and he talks about how he's ready to die in Philippians. And he says, I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or death. Flip to the next one. For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. If I am to go on living in this body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. Yet what shall I choose? I do not know. Go on to the next one. I am torn between the two desires. I desire to depart and be with Christ, which is better by far. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body. Go on to the next one. Convinced of this, I know that I will remain and I will continue with all of you for your progress and joy in the faith, so that through my being with you again, your boasting in Christ Jesus will abound on account of me. What is Paul saying here? What is he trying to get across? This is what he's trying to get across. It's that he's ready to die right now. He's not thinking about, I'll get myself straight tomorrow. But he's ready to die right now. But he says it's more beneficial for him to be here right now, serving the body. I want to serve the body of Christ. Now let me ask you this question. If you were to die today, would your impact be missed for the kingdom of God? Are you making such a difference in the life of your family, in the life of your neighbors, that they would sit it outside and go, man, we're missing something by them not being here. We're less than we were. Paul said, I can't leave now because it's more beneficial that I be here for you. Would your family, would your friends, would Jesus himself look at your life and say, it's more beneficial for you to be here now than for you to go? What are we doing with the time? Paul was only still here on earth because he was fulfilling a purpose. So why are you and I still here? There's a poem that I know many of you have heard. We hear it at funerals, and it's kind of ironic, though, because the subject may be about the departed, but the whole meaning is to awaken those who are living. It's called The Dash. Mom, I think you sent this to me this week. It's kind of funny how things work out. But the dash goes like this. I want you to follow me. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend, and he referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came her date of her birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters most is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent the dash? It's just a moment. It's a miss. And that's why when you look at everybody's tombstone, it all looks the same. It's because it really doesn't matter whether you get 15 years or you get 90. It's going to be going really fast. It's really easy to waste time, to forget about the things that matter most. We're supposed to be running a race. I want you to hear me out, guys. Paul said he was in a race and he ran it to win. We're supposed to be in a race, but many of us along the way of running forgot that we were trying to win. And we stopped to look back and we stopped to catch our breath. And eventually the road that we used to be running became a campsite. And instead of running with purpose, we sat down in leisure and forgot to get up. I hope that's not how your Christian walk is today. I hope that it's still a race, that you're still running with such intensity that it wears your body out a little bit, and that you're still giving to the people around you in such a way that it still makes an impact, that you're still going on. Because see, the question is, how do I make the most of my meals? Well, the easiest answer I can tell you is you fall head over heels in love with Jesus. You got to just give it all up. You know the song, there's a worship song, and it's called How He Loves. And there's a line that always grabs me, and it's the line that says, and I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way that He loves us. I don't have time to maintain these regrets. In other words, do you understand that many of us have all these regrets, things we've messed up, mistakes we've made, and we spend our effort, our thoughts, our energy, and our time maintaining the regrets day after day when Jesus has come to set us free from them. And that's why He gives you a new life in Him instead of refurbishing the old. It's because He doesn't want you to maintain the regrets of yesterday. Do you know that maintenance takes effort? If you're maintaining something, is you're keeping it alive. So when I'm maintaining my regrets, I'm keeping them alive in my life. And so therefore they have an impact on me, and they have authority over me, and it exhausts me. And you can't maintain regrets and live in freedom. Chris, put that last verse up there. So if the Son has set you free, then you're free indeed. You're free to live your life to the glory of God because He's removed your regrets. And if I'm maintaining them, then how can I be set free? Then how am I really free? And we look at life and we're trying to understand and we say, well, you know, when I come to Christ, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have hardships. You're right. You're not going to have hardships. You're still going to have hardships. There's still going to be difficult days. There's still going to be questions that you can't answer and things that come up that you can't do anything about. But I heard a story this week, and it was a guy who was a pastor, and he was talking about he had this great, powerful ministry, and he was doing all these things, and he said, I finally got a really nice car. He said, I'd never had a nice car before, and I really had this nice car. He said, and one night I had a problem at church, and it was kind of like the ministry was just sticking it to me. And he said, and then I got in my car and I was pulling through the parking lot, and somehow I managed to sideswipe this pole I didn't see. And so I messed up my car, and I was kind of sitting there. And he said, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me. He said, I've got this beautiful woman that I'm in a relationship with. He said, and I don't know why she wants to be with me. He said, and I wasn't even mad about my ministry. He said, I wasn't even mad about my car because I thought, at least I got her. And he said it was like that with God. When we fall so in love with God, yeah, things happen to us, but we're so consumed in His love for us and our love for Him and our just trying to understand how much He loves us, that those things just don't matter as much as they used to. So I lose something. Okay. So my life changes a little bit. Okay. So I don't get the best report. Okay. Because I'm just consumed in my love for Him. We all just have a miss, and then it's over. So what are you going to do with your miss? Worship team, have you come up this morning? What are you going to do with your miss? If it's literally like this, like I said, if it's literally just fades away and then it's gone, what are you going to do with it? What kind of impact will you make? Will you run in such a way that you're going to win the race, or will you just slough through life, complaining, nagging, looking at the negative, and dragging all these people down with you? Because, see, the Christian, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you're set free. I'm glad that you've got a life with Jesus. But that doesn't mean that you're not here to impact someone else for the kingdom of God. I've seen so many of you. I've seen so many of you change. Seen so many of you go from here to here over this last year. Because there's still some of you that are choosing to live down here. But God has a place for you up here. What are you going to do with it? As they sing this morning, if there's someone in here this morning that says, Matt, I've never even known Jesus. I don't know anything about Him. I don't even know how to live for Him. But I do hear what you're saying, and it is speaking to my heart this morning, and I know that I need to make some changes. What I'll say to you is, why don't you come up here and let me pray for you this morning? Let me introduce you to Jesus for the first time. And let me show you how you can live a life on purpose instead of just wandering aimlessly through the dark. And let me tell you this morning also, maybe you say, Matt, I live for the Lord, and I want to find this purpose, but maybe I just haven't found it yet. And I say, look around. Because His purpose is around you every day. Because His purpose is in His people. And everybody matters, right? He leaves the 99 to find the one. And maybe you're the one that's going to go out and get the one. Let's stand together. God, I pray this morning, Lord, that you would open our eyes and open our hearts to what you have for us. That we would realize that literally our life is but a mist, and then it's gone. And Lord, I pray that nothing would keep someone this morning from finding you, God. Lord, we love you. We live for you. I pray you speak over these next few moments, God. And we see people make commitments to go to another level in you. In your name I pray.
You stood before creation, eternity in your hand. You spoke the earth into motion, my soul now to sing. You stood before my face.
God is doing some amazing, amazing things. And I'm so excited about what He's doing. Pray with Selena to receive Jesus this morning. I'm so happy about that. Just you pray for the Bates family and for Selena and all of them, just that God would just help you guys. I know that it's not always the easiest thing, but you guys are doing a good thing. So you remember them when you pray. But let me pray for you this morning. God, I love you. I thank you, God, that you're working miraculous things outside of our control, God. And that you're doing beautiful, beautiful things, God, for your people, God. And I pray, Lord, this morning for all the ones here this morning, that you would just continue to work and bless, God, and do the things that you want to do in our lives, God. The time is short. We want to make the most of it. And then we're only going to be satisfied in doing the things that are about you, God. So I thank you, God, for what you do. I pray, God, that in everything, God, that you would just get the glory. Lord, I thank you for Bible school and what's going to happen this week, Lord, the salvations that we're going to see this week, the people that are going to come to know you, God. And I pray that we can be the kind of people that carry them to the next level, that disciple them and that love them, God. That we can love the unlovable, God, and we can care for those who are even difficult and maybe don't even want to be here, God, at times, Lord. And I just pray, Lord, that we can be the kind of church that just opens our arms wide and says, come on in. We want you to be part of our family and be part of the family that God's blessed us with here. Lord, thank you for your mighty hand, God, working through us and working in us, God. Thank you for this day. In the name of my prayer. Amen. The only announcement I'm going to have this week is that Bible school starts. At what time tonight?
5:30 registration tonight. The other night will be 6 to 8:30.
So 5:30 registration tonight, yes. VBS volunteers, you need to be in here for a few minutes. So if you can hang around.